Welcome to your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 548. If you are writing a book or thinking about it, or maybe you've started writing your book, but you need some help getting it done, you are in the right place. Good morning. Happy Sunday. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh, also known as Christine Inc., like that stuff we write with, especially if you're looking for me online. Each day, I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 19 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that 3 things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they can turn a quote-unquote non-author into a published book author. Those 3 things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. And once again, good morning. Happy Sunday. It is Sunday story time here on the show where I grab a book from my bookshelf, whether it's one of my own books or a client book or a book that's made an impact on me in some way. I read an excerpt, and then most importantly, I pose some sort of question or, learning question or exercise or some way for you to apply the information from the excerpt, because this show is all about you and your book. So the book I've chosen to read an excerpt from today is called The Stress Switch: The Truth About Stress and How to Short Circuit It by Dr. Amy Sarin. And the name of the section is Catastrophizing. And here is the excerpt. As human beings, we are not designed for a constant stream of news. We are not hardwired to know about every catastrophe happening that we have no control over. That's just fuel for the stress switch's fire. People who constantly have the news on may not realize that they're bringing a lot of stress into their homes. They are flooding their nervous systems and salience networks with visual and auditory stimuli about murders, car chases, fires, and other highly stimulating pieces of information. And most of the information isn't needed for our survival. If we weren't watching the news, we would not know about all these things. And in all likelihood, our lives would not be affected at all. Very brief excerpt, but very important and relevant and timely one from The Stress Switch by Dr. Amy Sarin. And obviously, she's talking about everyday, news, things that don't, always affect us. But the same could be said about constantly flooding our nervous systems, as she said, with all this stimuli. And I think a lot of us are doing that this year in particular. So just really wanted to bring our awareness today to your nervous system and the potential of, really how it's being affected by constantly immersing yourself in every little detail that comes out about the many, many news stories that are happening this year that we call 2020, which has now become almost a defined word in itself. So here's the study question. Here's the exercise for you. Are you inadvertently keeping your nervous system in a state of constant or near constant stress through constant exposure to the news? Whether, through old-fashioned television or on social media, the news. Even if your intentions are good, believing that you're being a good citizen and you're staying informed and all that, here's a simple experiment to try just to see if you actually are doing harm to your brain and your nervous system. So it's a quick experiment. It'll be fine. You'll survive. First, at the end of a normal day where you've exposed yourself to the news as much as you typically do in a normal day, with whatever amount of news that you normally expose yourself, that's the day we're looking for. So right after you switch it off, whether you log off from social media, turn the TV off, all that, what I want you to do is document your thoughts, your body feelings, your energy level, like as much as you can think of. Pretend you're a scientist and see how many things that you can possibly observe about yourself, mentally, physically, and even spiritually. Then go for 48 hours. That's right, 48 hours without any exposure to the news. And trust me, if the world does end, or if it's about to, I'm sure someone will text you and let you know. So that's right, 2 days, no notifications on your phone, no social media, no news, just don't be exposed to any of that. And at the end of those 2 days, and before you switch the news back on, do the same level of documentation that you did prior to your media fast, and then compare the results. In addition to raising your awareness about your nervous system health and how it actually is being affected by these various outside stimuli that might not even be on your radar, this exercise also goes with one of my continuing recent messages here on the show, training yourself to be an observer. Normally, I've been talking about it in the context of observing yourself as an author and your writing process. But remember that before we are authors, we are human beings with a whole complex mess of mental and physical components that affect our writing process, including our nervous systems. So I hope today's book excerpt from The Stress Switch and this exercise provides some good intel for you that helps you as a human being and as an author. Thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I am helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And please drop by my Inc. Authors group on Facebook and let us know how we can support your writing goals. Inc. Authors on Facebook. Until tomorrow, happy writing.